Once again, I feel absolutely motivated to record another video on this nonsense. I am so sick to death of developers. I cannot stand software developers. I think that they are absolute morons, okay? All they do is mess with things that don't need to be messed with. They don't need to be messed with. The software I'm using has been fine for 20 years. Or they come along and say, oh yeah, I don't like that, and they just, off it goes, and you lose the function. And you're like, I've been using this for 20 years. Oh, but we don't think you need it anymore. Well, how stupid. How stupid. It's ridiculous. I don't know how to get this message out to people. It's got to stop. These developers have to be stopped. It's ridiculous what they're doing. I use software. Why on earth can't they just listen to design fundamentals? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't try and reinvent the wheel. And keep it simple. All these idiots are doing is just messing with things. All they're doing is messing with things. And they just end up with millions of comments on forums saying, why on earth has Adobe or Microsoft changed this thing? It's ridiculous. Leave it alone. You can offer optional extras if you want, but these idiots, all they do is just change the fundamental program. It's crazy. Oh, we'll just change it. Why? It's perfectly fine. No one's been asking you to change it, but we'll just change it anyway. It's ridiculous. It's absolute insanity. It's got to be stopped. It literally has to be stopped. Someone has to stand in the way and say, no more, this has to stop. Because it's taken my experience of using computers from being reasonably good and feeling I had control over things to every 5 minutes having to account for the fact that some idiot has just taken away functionality or introduced some other rubbish that no one needs. It's just got to stop. It's crazy. Change for the sake of change? This insanity. It's literally got to be stopped. These developers have to be trained out of it. They've been trained into it by morons who are saying, okay, you're in development 101. The first thing you've got to do is change everything. The first lesson should be, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. That should be the entirety of the first lesson. All the students sit down, and on the board at the back of the room, the tutor just points to it and says, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And then he says, thank you very much, that's your first lesson, I'll see you tomorrow. You have to get this into people's thick heads. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. The pair of scissors, right, has been mastered, okay? This is a pair of scissors. It's peaked, okay? Don't mess with it. If you want to create an alternative, go ahead. Go right ahead. But don't take my pair of scissors that I've been using for 20 years and start messing with it. What is wrong with these people? Who's running this nonsense? What idiot is sitting in the chair of decision making and going, yes, that's been fine for 20 years. Oh, you've taken something away from it? That's great. We'll issue the new revision of the program without that thing that people have been used to for 20 years. Oh, no one's checked whether or not the people want to use it? Oh well, who cares? What is this absurdity? This nonsense. We can't go on like this. It has to be stopped. It has to be stopped. I'm tired of it. Every single time I open software, it's been ruined. Just leave it the hell alone. It's obvious. This is such obvious stuff. If you don't need to change the software, don't change it. And if you've got an office full of people whose job it is to change software and they are unnecessary, fire them and they can get a different career. Don't say, oh well, we've got people who are expert in changing things, so let's just change stuff. That's not business. That's ridiculousness. You guys are out of touch. Completely out of touch with the user. How do these people go home after they've ruined software and sleep at night? How do they do it? Knowing that they've gone into something that was perfectly fine and just messed it up. They just issued it. There are commands I used to use in a lot of software. Poof, they've just gone. They were perfectly fine. They were working fine for 25 years. Oh, someone's just decided, yeah, we'll change it. What is this garbage? It's just nonsense. All it does is disrupt someone's ability to do their work. What's the matter with you bloody people? Get your heads out of your asses now. Honestly, I don't know what they're doing. Software developers, stop developing. Please. Just stop. Call yourselves programmers instead of developers, because the word developer implies that you're perpetually going to be changing things. This is probably the cause of the problem, calling these people developers. Ha ha, I'm a developer. Ha ha ha. No, you're not. You're a programmer. Just program. You're not developing anything, and you know if you're a programmer, if something works. If you're a developer, then you're always thinking, oh, I have to change something. If you're a programmer, then you look at it and say, well, this is fine. I mean, what is this nonsense? Maybe someone can explain this to me.